The golden sun was beginning its slow, graceful descent behind the rolling emerald hills of Whispering Valley, painting the vast sky in blending hues of soft lavender, warm amber, and deep rose. Oliver, a gentle 10-year-old boy with soft, tousled brown hair, wearing a cozy oversized dark blue knitted wool sweater, walked along the mossy woodland path. Beside him flew Barnaby, a small barn owl with speckled ivory feathers and warm golden eyes, who fluttered silently from branch to branch like a soft feather on the gentle breeze. The air smelled delightfully of damp autumn earth, sweet pine resin, and the faint honeyed aroma of evening wildflowers closing their petals for the night. A soothing coolness drifted through the forest canopy, rustling the leaves with a calm, rhythmic murmur that sounded like a quiet lullaby. Oliver reached the edge of the ancient clearing where the old grand oak tree stood tall and majestic against the twilight horizon. Its massive boughs spread out wide like giant welcoming arms, cradling the evening mist. High up within those sturdy branches sat the wooden treehouse, built from smooth cedar planks and roofed with cedar shingles, a quiet haven designed specifically for watching stars. The twilight world was filled with an inviting stillness that eased his mind and softened every sound of the forest. He adjusted the strap of his shoulder bag and looked up at the cozy sanctuary with excitement and calm. The serene tranquility of Whispering Valley seemed to grow deeper with every passing minute, as if the ancient hills themselves were whispering a quiet bedtime blessing over the sleeping earth. The leaves above rustled in a slow, rhythmic cadence that echoed the calm beating of a tranquil heart, inviting every listening ear to release the burdens of the day. Every leaf on the ancient oak tree seemed to whisper a quiet blessing, cradling the evening in pure stillness. Oliver paused at the foot of the ancient oak tree, gazing upward with a tranquil smile as a feeling of deep peace settled over his heart. The trunk was wide and weathered by centuries of quiet seasons, covered in lush patches of velvety green moss that felt delightfully soft and cushiony beneath his fingers. A safe, broad wooden ladder wrapped gently around the thick trunk, constructed with sturdy steps and smooth handrails for an effortless climb. Barnaby landed silently on a low-hanging mossy bough nearby, tilting his feathered head with quiet curiosity as Oliver adjusted his lightweight canvas shoulder satchel. Inside the satchel were his prized treasures, a small leather-bound stargazing journal, a polished brass compass, a wooden fountain pen, and a small linen pouch of dried organic chamomile blossoms. All around them, the forest was slowly settling into its evening rhythm. Songbirds sang their final soft, sweet melodies from the high branches before resting, while field crickets began their steady, rhythmic song in the tall grass. Every breath Oliver took filled his lungs with pure, refreshing forest air, releasing all tiredness and welcoming the evening stillness. Every step along the forest floor brought a renewed sense of comfort and safety, as the soft moss cradled his footsteps like a natural plush carpet woven by nature. The cool night breeze carried gentle notes of blooming night jasmine and wild thyme, weaving a fragrant tapestry of calm that filled the twilight air. The peaceful atmosphere of the forest settled deep into his heart, making him feel completely safe and serene. Step by step, Oliver climbed smoothly up the wooden ladder into the leafy upper world of the majestic oak tree. The higher he ascended, the more peaceful and still the world felt around him, as if the worries of the ground below were dissolving into the soft twilight air. Barnaby glided effortlessly alongside, landing softly on the smooth wooden railing of the treehouse balcony. When Oliver reached the top platform, he stepped out onto the balcony, feeling the solid, reliable cedar boards beneath his soft shoes. From this vantage point, the balcony offered a breathtaking view of the broad valley below, where a quiet winding creek sparkled under the pink and violet sky. The treehouse entry door was crafted from pale oak, complete with a round brass handle that caught the warm evening light. Oliver reached out and turned the handle with a smooth, quiet click, pushing the door open gently. Inside, the space welcomed him with the comforting scent of aromatic cedar wood, dried lavender, and soft woolen blankets that immediately relaxed his spirit. As the elevated platform of the treehouse came into view, the cedar scent grew richer and more inviting, promising warmth, security, and peaceful isolation from the noisy world below. The wooden steps felt sturdy and reliable beneath his feet, offering a quiet rhythm to his steady ascent. A deep sense of contentment filled his spirit as he looked forward to a night of quiet stargazing high above. Inside the treehouse, the atmosphere was warm, cozy, and filled with gentle golden light filtering through large glass windows that lined 3 walls. In the center of the room stood a handcrafted wooden table holding an antique polished brass oil lamp, surrounded by comfortable plush armchairs draped in soft patchwork quilts and velvet cushions. A wide reading nook occupied one corner, filled with thick wool blankets, knitted pillows, and soft bolsters. Oliver unslung his satchel and set it gently on the table, walking over to the main stargazing window. He opened the glass frame slightly, letting in a cool, soothing evening breeze that gently fluttered the white linen curtains. Barnaby swooped gracefully through the window and perched comfortably on a high wooden crossbeam beneath the sloped ceiling, fluffing his soft feathers in satisfaction. Outside, the setting sun had fully dipped beneath the distant mountain ridges, leaving behind a sky of deep midnight navy, plum, and indigo. The very first silver stars were beginning to blink open like tiny diamonds in the vast celestial sphere. Inside the sanctuary of cedar and glass, every corner seemed designed for pure relaxation and quiet reflection. The soft linen curtains swayed gently in the draft, while the soft velvet pillows welcomed him to lean back, close his eyes, and surrender to the soothing stillness of the evening. The warm interior promised hours of quiet comfort, sheltered from the world under a canopy of velvet stars. Oliver struck a long match and carefully lit the cotton wick of the brass lamp on the wooden table. A soft, warm golden glow illuminated the interior of the treehouse, casting cozy, gentle shadows against the smooth cedar walls. He walked over to the small tea corner, where a polished brass kettle rested on a wooden stand next to a ceramic teapot and stoneware cups. Oliver poured pure spring water from a glass carafe into the kettle, setting it over a gentle heating stone. He added a spoon of dried chamomile and lavender buds, letting the soothing floral fragrance drift into the room. Outside, delicate evening mist began to rise from the valley floor, drifting silently through the forest canopy and wrapping the leafy boughs in a soft shroud of silver silk. The rustling oak leaves produced a continuous, rhythmic murmur that matched the calm, steady pace of Oliver's breathing. He took a long, deep breath and smiled, knowing that tonight was reserved for quiet observation, cosmic wonder, and restful slumber. The warm golden glow from the brass lamp created a cozy circle of light, casting gentle shadows that danced softly against the polished wood walls. As the kettle began its comforting song, the soothing herbal steam filled the room, inviting a profound sense of warmth and peaceful contentment. Each breath of fragrant herbal steam relaxed his shoulders, drawing him into the gentle embrace of the night. As the kettle began to warm, Oliver stepped back out onto the wooden balcony to watch the sky complete its transition into night. The final soft pink hues of sunset had faded, leaving an infinite expanse of deep cosmic indigo. High above, the constellation of the Great Bear stood out with crystal clarity, its brilliant silver stars shining with steady radiance. Barnaby glided out silently from the roof beam and alighted gently on Oliver's shoulder, nestling his soft head against Oliver's cheek with a low, comforting hoot that sounded like a sleepy whisper. Below the treehouse balcony, the forest floor was filled with hundreds of tiny fireflies dancing gracefully among the tall fern fronds, looking like living stars floating near the earth. The night air was cool and crisp, but Oliver felt completely warm inside his thick wool sweater. He looked up into the vast universe, feeling tiny yet deeply connected to every star, every leaf, and every quiet breath of the night. The peaceful energy of the forest enveloped him completely. Out on the balcony, the vast cosmic sky stretched into infinity, holding billions of silver lights that shone with quiet majesty. The dancing fireflies below mirrored the stars above, turning the misty forest into a magical realm where earth and sky met in quiet harmony. The boundless beauty of the night sky filled his mind with wonder, smoothing away every remaining daytime thought. The brass kettle gave a soft, gentle hum, announcing that the water was hot and ready. Oliver returned inside the cozy treehouse room and carefully poured the fragrant chamomile and lavender tea into 2 stoneware mugs. He set his mug on a wooden coaster by the window armchair and placed a small saucer of fresh water on the sill for Barnaby. Taking a slow, mindful sip of the tea, the soothing liquid warmed his throat and spread a pleasant, comforting relaxation down through his shoulders and back. He sank back into the soft plush armchair by the big window, letting his body be cradled by the thick velvet cushions. Through the clear glass panes, the night sky was growing darker and richer by the minute, revealing thousands of distant stars that were hidden during the day. The simple comfort of sitting in a warm room with hot tea under a starlit sky filled Oliver with gratitude and quiet joy. He let his eyes rest on the twinkling celestial pattern above. The warm stoneware mug felt comforting in his hands, radiating a gentle heat that loosened the tightness in his fingers and wrists. With every small sip of the aromatic chamomile brew, a wave of soothing relaxation spread through his body, guiding him deeper into a calm state of rest. With every warm sip of tea, a tranquil calm washed over him, preparing his body for deep, restorative slumber. In the corner of the treehouse stood a beautiful vintage brass telescope mounted securely on a polished mahogany tripod. It was Oliver's most treasured instrument, kept gleaming and clean. He stood up from his chair, holding his warm mug, and walked over to the telescope. He carefully removed the leather protective cap and adjusted the smooth brass focusing dial. Aiming the lens toward a glowing star cluster in the eastern sky, he leaned close to the soft eyepiece. Through the precision glass, the cosmic sky exploded into a stunning tapestry of sparkling stars, soft blue nebulae, and shimmering cosmic dust clouds. Each star burned with its own unique beauty, glowing in shades of sapphire, gold, and pearlescent white. Oliver marveled at how peaceful and orderly the universe was, moving in quiet perfection across light years of space, completely undisturbed by the busy world below. The vastness of space brought a deep sense of tranquility to his soul. Peering through the polished brass telescope was like opening a secret portal into the quiet depths of the universe. The sparkling stars appeared like bright diamonds set upon dark velvet, reminding him of how vast, beautiful, and peaceful the cosmos truly is. Looking through the brass telescope brought an overwhelming feeling of peace, connecting him to the silent cosmos. Barnaby swooped down quietly from his high beam and landed gracefully on the wooden edge of the mahogany tripod, tilting his head to peer toward the telescope with bright, curious eyes. Oliver smiled warmly and gently petted the owl's smooth feather-covered head with a soft finger. Outside, a gentle night wind swept through the tall oak canopy, creating a rich, rushing sound among the leaves that sounded like distant ocean waves lapping against a sandy shore. The treehouse gave a tiny, barely perceptible sway, a soothing, rocking motion that felt like being gently cradled in a wooden cradle. The rhythmic swaying was deeply calming. Oliver took another slow, deep breath, enjoying the blended aroma of chamomile tea, cedar wood, and night-blooming jasmine wafting up from the forest below. All lingering tension drained away from his muscles, leaving him completely relaxed and bathed in peace. The faint, rhythmic sway of the ancient treehouse felt like being rocked in a giant wooden cradle high in the forest canopy. The gentle movement washed over his senses, lulling his mind into a state of quiet serenity where no worry or tension could remain. The gentle sway of the high wooden sanctuary felt like a peaceful lullaby sang by the ancient oak tree itself. Oliver fetched his leather-bound journal and wooden fountain pen from the table and sat back down by the telescope. He opened the journal to a fresh parchment page and began sketching the delicate star patterns he had just observed through the lens. His pen strokes were slow and relaxed, enjoying the quiet scratch of ink on paper. Barnaby watched attentively from his perch, occasionally fluffing his soft feathers with a gentle rustle. The journal pages were filled with detailed drawings of constellations, notes on lunar phases, and quiet reflections on the beauty of nature. Recording his stargazing observations felt like capturing peaceful moments that would stay with him forever. Each stroke of the pen brought a deeper feeling of tranquility, like wrapping a warm blanket around his shoulders as the quiet midnight hours approached. The treehouse interior felt increasingly cozy and safe. The delicate scratch of the wooden pen on parchment paper produced a rhythmic, satisfying sound that seemed to measure the peaceful flow of time. Page by page, his journal captured the beauty of the stars, preserving peaceful memories that would forever bring comfort to his heart. Recording his quiet thoughts in the leather journal preserved a memory of peace that would warm his heart forever. Just as Oliver finished sketching the constellation, a sudden brilliant streak of light crossed the upper window pane. He looked up in delight to see a magnificent shooting star trail across the dark indigo sky, leaving a glowing tail of silver and gold dust before vanishing into the cosmic depth. Oliver closed his eyes for a brief, reverent moment and made a heartfelt wish for peace, calm thoughts, and gentle dreams for everyone sleeping under the night sky. Barnaby let out a low, sweet hoot, as if endorsing the wish into the silent air. The sky appeared even clearer now, crowded with countless stars that glittered like silver diamonds scattered on black velvet. The stillness of the night felt thick, comforting, and protective, surrounding the treehouse with an atmosphere of absolute safety. Oliver leaned back against his chair, feeling deeply blessed by the quiet beauty of the universe. The brief, brilliant streak of the shooting star left a lingering sense of wonder and magic in the night air. The universe seemed to whisper that all is well, that peace is eternal, and that deep, restorative sleep is a gentle gift available to every living soul. The glowing path of the shooting star reminded him that magic and serenity are always present in the night sky. Oliver adjusted the brass oil lamp, lowering the flame so that the room was bathed in a soft, dreamy amber glow that matched the quiet mood of the night. He pulled a thick wool patchwork quilt over his lap as he relaxed into the armchair. The air outside had grown crisp, but inside the treehouse it was wonderfully warm and snug. Looking out through the lower window panes, Oliver noticed a family of wild deer stepping quietly into the moonlit clearing below. Their dark silhouettes moved with effortless grace across the misty grass, making no sound at all as they grazed under the oak branches. Oliver watched them in silent admiration, appreciating how every creature in the forest possessed its own calm rhythm. Nature seemed to move in slow, deliberate harmony, inviting everything to rest and surrender to the night. He felt a deep connection to the gentle deer and the sleeping woods. Watching the gentle deer move gracefully across the moonlit meadow below brought an overwhelming sense of quiet beauty. Nature was moving in its own unhurried, timeless cadence, inviting Oliver to slow his thoughts and fall into step with the peaceful rhythm of the night. The quiet movement of the deer below reflected the natural rhythm of rest that beckoned every living creature. Full silver moonlight was now streaming through the large glass skylight in the slanted roof, painting geometric patterns of bright light across the polished cedar floorboards. Oliver looked up at the skylight directly above the main daybed. It felt as though he was sleeping right beneath the vast open cosmos, protected by crystal-clear glass and warm wooden walls. He stood up, stretched his arms comfortably, and prepared the daybed for sleep. He fluffed the plump linen pillows and smoothed the thick wool blankets, creating an incredibly soft and inviting sleeping nook. Barnaby flew over and settled at the foot of the bed on his own designated velvet cushion, tucking his beak into his feathers in preparation for sleep. The moonbeams illuminated the bed with a silver glow, making it look like a floating island of peace. The silver moonlight streaming through the roof skylight illuminated the daybed with an ethereal radiance, making the soft patchwork quilt look inviting and luxurious. The sleeping nook felt like a private cloud suspended safely beneath the starry heavens. The silver moonlight transformed the daybed into a heavenly nest of comfort, inviting immediate relaxation. Oliver walked over to the tea table and finished the last warm sip of his chamomile tea, feeling a pleasant, heavy sleepiness settling into his arms and legs. He set the empty mug down and stepped out onto the balcony one last time to breathe in the midnight air. The forest canopy below was completely washed in silver moonlight, turning the green oak leaves into glowing, ethereal sculptures. The distant mountain peaks stood like giant quiet sentinels against the starry horizon, framed by soft wisps of night clouds. A gentle breeze brushed against Oliver's face, carrying the fresh scent of dew and cedar. He took 3 long, slow, deep breaths, drawing in the pure peace of the night and letting go of any remaining daytime thoughts. The tranquil atmosphere wrapped around him like a gentle cloak. Taking in deep breaths of the midnight forest air filled his chest with pure, crisp freshness that cleansed away every lingering trace of daytime weariness. The cool dew on the leaves glistened like silver pearls, reflecting the calm light of the full moon. Breathing the fresh midnight dew restored his energy, filling him with a sense of pure, untroubled quietude. Stepping back inside, Oliver closed the heavy balcony door gently, sliding the wooden latch into place to seal in the cozy warmth of the treehouse. He walked quietly across the wooden floor to the vintage telescope, taking one final look at the bright moon. Through the lens, the silver lunar surface was breathtakingly detailed, showing smooth crater basins and radiant mountain ridges glowing in sunlight across space. It was humbling to realize that this same moon was casting its gentle light over the entire world, bringing peace to countless homes and hearts. Oliver carefully placed the leather cap over the lens, silently thanking the telescope for another wonderful evening of discovery. He was now fully ready to drift into the quiet world of dreams, guided by the starry sky above. Securing the wooden door latch brought a cozy sense of closure to the evening's activities, sealing out the cool night drafts while keeping the warm, lavender-scented air inside. Everything in the treehouse was now settled, peaceful, and ready for deep slumber. The solid click of the wooden latch sealed in the warmth, creating a sanctuary where only peaceful thoughts could dwell. Oliver turned off the brass oil lamp, allowing the room to be illuminated entirely by the soft, soothing moonlight filtering through the windows and overhead skylight. Soft, rounded shadows filled the corners, transforming the treehouse into a sanctuary of peaceful comfort. He slipped into the cozy daybed, pulling the heavy wool blankets and patchwork quilt up to his chin. The bedding felt clean, crisp, and pleasantly warm against his skin. He laid his head down on the soft linen pillow, feeling his neck and shoulder muscles relax instantly. Barnaby gave a quiet, sleepy beak click from the foot of the bed, settling down for the night. Oliver closed his eyes, listening attentively to the gentle night sounds of the forest while feeling safe and cradled. Slipping beneath the heavy wool blankets felt like entering a warm cocoon of absolute comfort and safety. As his head sank into the soft plush pillow, his neck muscles relaxed completely, allowing his mind to drift into the peaceful shallows of early sleep. Sinking into the soft pillow brought instant relief, allowing his mind to float gently toward the realm of dreams. Outside the window, a soft midnight rain began to fall, starting as a gentle, misty drizzle that tapped rhythmically against the wooden roof and glass skylight. Pitter-patter went the drops, creating the most soothing bedtime lullaby imaginable. The sound of rain on a cedar roof in the middle of an ancient forest was Oliver's favorite sound in the whole world. Every soft drop seemed to wash away any remaining thoughts, leaving behind pure, serene quietness. The air inside the treehouse grew even cozier as the rain pattered outside. Oliver snuggled deeper under his soft quilt, breathing in the comforting scent of clean wool, lavender, and rain-washed leaves. The gentle cadence of rain wrapped the room in pure contentment. The rhythmic patter of the midnight rain on the cedar shingles created a continuous, comforting beat that wrapped around his consciousness. The steady sound of raindrops was the most natural, effective lullaby in the world, hushing every thought into quiet stillness. The rhythmic music of the raindrops on the cedar roof hushed every noise, lulling him into deep tranquility. The rain continued in a steady, gentle cadence, never heavy or harsh, just a hypnotic, rhythmic tapping that filled the night with deep calm. The oak leaves outside swayed gently under the raindrops, producing a lush rustling sound that harmonized perfectly with the rain music. Inside, Oliver lay completely motionless, feeling safe, warm, and deeply protected. His eyelids felt pleasantly heavy, and a wave of profound relaxation washed from his forehead down through his neck, shoulders, back, and legs. Every muscle felt comfortable, heavy, and ready for deep rest. He opened his eyes just a sliver to watch the light rain droplets trickling down the moonlit skylight above, feeling profoundly at peace with the world. With every passing minute of the gentle rain shower, the air inside the treehouse felt cozier, warmer, and more protective. The soft rustle of wet leaves outside harmonized with the rain, creating a rich texture of sound that invited profound relaxation. The gentle rain created a soothing shroud of comfort around the treehouse, keeping every chill far away. Through the water droplets sliding down the glass skylight, the bright stars looked like twinkling watercolor points of silver and gold. The visual effect was dreamy and magical, as if you were lying beneath a living cosmic painting coming to life. Oliver watched the graceful movement of the droplets, each catching the silver moonlight as it trickled away. Barnaby was completely asleep now, his head tucked snugly beneath his speckled wing, breathing softly and regularly. The gentle bond of companionship between boy and owl filled the room with quiet warmth. They were safe in their high wooden nest, cradled by the ancient oak tree and watched over by the vast sky. Nothing could disturb their cozy sanctuary. Looking up at the rain-streaked skylight was like gazing at a moving painting of silver starlight and water droplets. The hypnotic movement of the trickling water relaxed his eyes, while the sleepy breathing of his owl companion filled the room with comforting warmth. Watching the trickling water droplets under the starlight relaxed his eyes, bringing a heavy, pleasant drowsiness. Oliver's mind drifted back over the peaceful events of the day, walking along the sunny woodland trails, listening to the gentle babbling brook, and climbing up into this wonderful treehouse. All those happy activities were now finished, resting peacefully in the past. Night had arrived to restore energy, quiet the mind, and heal the body with deep, nourishing sleep. Oliver took a slow, deep breath, expanding his belly calmly, then released it with a long, soft sigh. With every exhale, he felt himself sinking deeper into the soft mattress, feeling light and weightless like a leaf floating down a calm stream. He surrendered completely to the soothing darkness of the night, feeling happy and content. All thoughts of the day's adventures faded smoothly into the background, leaving behind a tranquil feeling of accomplishment and rest. His body felt heavy, warm, and comfortable, sinking effortlessly into the soft mattress as sleep claimed his senses. All daytime cares faded into distant memories, leaving behind an inner quiet as soft as the velvet night. The rain gradually tapered off into a light mist, leaving the forest dripping with silver water droplets that sparkled like diamonds in the moonlight. The clouds parted once more, revealing an even grander view of the Milky Way galaxy stretching across the zenith like a river of starry dust. Thousands of silver stars shone with unwavering purity, silent guardians of the peaceful night. The silence inside the treehouse was profound and beautiful, punctuated only by the steady, calm breathing of Oliver and Barnaby. The entire world outside had settled into its deepest midnight rest, where every living thing was sleeping peacefully in its home. Oliver felt a wave of profound stillness washing through his spirit, easing every breath. As the rain cleared, the sky opened up into a spectacular display of cosmic glory, with the Milky Way shining like a river of silver dust. The profound silence of the night settled over the forest, bringing a sacred stillness that covered every tree and leaf. The brilliant river of stars overhead stood watch over the quiet valley, ensuring a night of absolute peace. Oliver felt a gentle wave of heavy drowsiness wash over him, warm and comforting like a sun-warmed blanket. He allowed his eyelids to close completely, surrendering willingly to the natural rhythm of sleep. In his imagination, he could still see the glowing constellations floating serenely in the dark indigo sea of space. He pictured himself floating gently among those silver stars, drifting effortlessly through the cosmic calm without weight or care. The universe felt vast, beautiful, and completely welcoming. He knew that he was a safe, cherished part of this world, surrounded by quiet love and natural beauty. His mind relaxed into deep, serene tranquility. A pleasant, heavy warmth spread through his limbs, making even the smallest movement feel unnecessary and effortless. He let go of all conscious thought, allowing himself to float on the gentle currents of restful sleep, surrounded by celestial beauty. Floating on gentle currents of rest, he felt surrounded by an atmosphere of unconditional warmth and safety. A soft night breeze drifted through the oak canopy outside, gently swaying the massive branches of the tree. The treehouse responded with a subtle, rhythmic motion, a barely noticeable rocking that felt like being cradled in a mother's loving arms. The gentle motion smoothed away every remaining thought, guiding Oliver deeper into the quiet realm of sleep. His breathing became long, slow, and completely effortless. In-breath bringing pure peace, out-breath releasing into total calm. The room was bathed in dim, silver moonlight, creating a sacred space where nothing was required except to rest and be still. The world was quiet, safe, and beautifully soft. The ancient oak tree continued its slow, gentle sway in the midnight breeze, cradling the treehouse with sturdy, loving strength. The rhythmic motion smoothed away every remaining ripple of thought, guiding Oliver into the deepest realm of peaceful slumber. The rhythmic rocking motion of the treehouse cradled his body, guiding him effortlessly into profound slumber. Barnaby shifted slightly in his sleep, letting out a soft, contented sigh before settling his head back into his feathers. Oliver smiled faintly in his drowsy state, feeling a deep sense of gratitude for this perfect night. The treehouse under the stars was more than just a wooden structure. It was a sanctuary for the soul, a place where peace was found in every quiet moment. The night was halfway through its journey, holding the world in a gentle, protective embrace until the golden sun would return. Oliver sank deeper into the warm comfort of his bed, feeling completely surrounded by affection and warmth. Sleep held him in its kindest, softest arms. Barnaby's soft beat click and quiet breathing added a sweet note of companionship to the nocturnal haven. Together in their high wooden shelter, boy and owl rested in complete safety, protected from the cold world by warm blankets and sturdy cedar walls. Together in their cozy high bough, boy and owl slept securely, wrapped in the protective warmth of the sanctuary. The silver moonlight shifted gradually across the room as the moon traveled its slow arc across the midnight sky. It illuminated the rustic wooden roof beams, the vintage brass telescope resting on its tripod, and the soft patterns of the patchwork quilt. Every object in the treehouse seemed to radiate a quiet, serene glow, filled with the tranquility of the night. Oliver was now swimming in the warm, dreamy shallows of deep sleep. His thoughts were soft, light, and floating like fluffy summer clouds across a peaceful sky, dissolving into gentle shapes of silver and gold. His body rested in total stillness, breathing with slow, rhythmic ease as the night drifted on. The shifting moonlight painted slow, silver patterns across the floorboards as the night progressed on its quiet journey across the sky. Every corner of the room radiated calm, inviting deep, undisturbed rest that would restore energy and peace to his spirit. The slow arc of the moon brought soft silver light to every corner of the room, radiating timeless stillness. Deep within Whispering Valley, all the forest animals were sleeping soundly in their cozy burrows, hollow trees, and warm nests. Mother foxes were curled around their sleepy pups in dry earthen dens, field mice were snuggled together under beds of soft moss, and songbirds were tucked safely beneath leafy branches. A shared blanket of peace covered the entire earth, connecting every sleeping creature in a silent harmony of rest. Oliver felt this universal peace surrounding him, keeping him safe, warm, and deeply comfortable inside his high wooden sanctuary. The grand old oak tree held them all securely in the dark night. Across the entire valley, a shared blanket of silence held every sleeping animal in a gentle embrace. Mother foxes, songbirds, and forest mice were all asleep in their homes, united in the peaceful rhythm of night that restored all living things. A shared blanket of calm covered the sleeping forest, uniting every wild creature in restorative slumber. The air inside the treehouse remained perfectly pleasant, fragranced with cedar wood, dried lavender, and the crisp freshness of the forest night filtering through the small window vent. Oliver's face was completely relaxed, his brow smooth and free of all tension. A peaceful, serene expression rested on his features as he sank deeper into profound, restorative slumber. Sleep was renewing his mind, healing his body, and filling his heart with quiet strength. But tomorrow was still far away, and for now, there was only the tranquil present moment holding him in complete safety. The wooden walls cradled him gently, protecting his quiet rest. The aromatic scent of cedar wood and dried lavender drifted lazily through the air, soothing his lungs with every quiet breath. Oliver slept deeply, his face serene and unburdened, resting in the total safety provided by the high treehouse sanctuary. The soothing fragrance of lavender and cedar filled his lungs, bringing quiet peace to every slow breath. In the infinite starry expanse above the treehouse, the constellations continued their timeless, silent rotation across the sky. The constellation of Pegasus rose higher, its silver stars outlining the mythical winged horse soaring through cosmic space. Oliver's dreams were filled with gentle images of flying softly above the emerald forest canopy, gliding alongside Barnaby under a sky made of twinkling starlight and golden dust. The dream felt light, comforting, and infinitely peaceful, filling his spirit with quiet joy as he slept. He floated among starry clouds, feeling completely free and happy. The universe smiled down upon the quiet wooden treehouse cradled in the oak branches. In his peaceful dreams, he glided effortlessly above the treetops, soaring alongside silver constellations and soft glowing clouds. The dream world was bright, happy, and infinitely calm, filling his heart with quiet joy while his body rested below. Gliding through dream clouds of starlight, his spirit rejoiced in the weightless freedom of the celestial sky. The night grew quieter still, entering those sacred hours between midnight and early morning when the earth is at its most motionless and still. Even the wind had died down to an imperceptible whisper that barely stirred the highest leaves of the grand oak tree. The forest seemed to hold its breath in pure reverence for the night. Inside the treehouse, the air was rich with calm, like a quiet natural cathedral where every shadow was gentle. Oliver slept deeply, his slow breathing matching the calm, steady pulse of the sleeping earth below. Peace hovered over the room like a soft velvet blanket. During these quietest hours of the night, time itself seemed to pause, allowing the earth to rest in pure stillness. The forest held its breath, and inside the wooden room, Oliver slept with a slow, steady pulse that matched the quiet heartbeat of nature. The motionless midnight air held the forest in reverent quiet, blessing the sleeping treehouse with pure peace. Barnaby opened one golden eye for a brief second, verified that his sleeping friend was cozy and safe, then closed his eye with a tiny rustle of soft wing feathers. The quiet companionship between boy and owl was a steady anchor of safety in the vast night. Together in their high wooden haven, they were sheltered from every chill and storm. The sturdy ancient oak tree held them securely in its powerful limbs, having weathered hundreds of winters and peaceful nights just like this one. The strength of the old tree was felt in every sturdy beam, providing absolute reassurance and quiet stability. The old oak tree stood like a faithful guardian in the dark, its deep roots grounded firmly in the fertile earth while its boughs held the sleeping treehouse. Generations of quiet nights had passed under these boughs, each leaving behind a legacy of peace. The ancient oak tree stood strong and faithful, safeguarding its peaceful guests under the midnight canopy. A soft beam of starlight shone down through the glass skylight, illuminating Oliver's quilt with a delicate ribbon of silver light. It was as if the stars themselves were watching over the sleeping boy, sending down quiet blessings of sweet dreams and peaceful rest. Oliver stirred slightly in his sleep, turning comfortably onto his side and pulling the soft blanket closer around his shoulders. He let out a long, quiet breath that sounded like a soft night breeze, settling right back into deep, dreamless slumber. The starlight bathed the sleeping room in magical purity, keeping away every shadow and filling the air with stillness and calm. A soft ribbon of starlight beamed down through the glass, wrapping the bed in a glowing blessing of quiet comfort. Oliver turned gently under the warm quilt, settling deeper into his pillow with a soft, peaceful sigh that dissolved into the quiet night. The starlight ribbon on his blanket felt like a gentle midnight kiss, wishing him the sweetest of dreams. The beauty of the treehouse under the stars was timeless. Countless generations of stars had shone down upon this ancient forest, and countless generations more would follow. In this eternal flow of time, this single peaceful night was a precious gift of calm and stillness. Oliver rested in the complete security of knowing that he was right where he belonged, cradled lovingly by nature. The serene atmosphere washed over his mind like clear, warm water, soothing away every trace of weariness. His heart was quiet, his mind was calm, and his spirit was at peace. The universe held him in gentle safekeeping throughout the night hours. The timeless beauty of the night sky brought a feeling of complete contentment, reminding him that he was safe, loved, and part of a magnificent universe. The quiet calm settled deep into his spirit, washing away every last trace of weariness. Knowing he was cradled by nature brought an enduring peace that quieted every thought in his sleepy mind. As the hours moved steadily toward the quiet pre-dawn, the outside night air cooled slightly, making the interior of the treehouse feel even warmer, softer, and more inviting by contrast. Oliver nestled deeper into his nest of plush pillows and wool quilts. The cozy warmth of the bed was pure bliss, wrapping him in an unbreakable cocoon of comfort. Outside, the night sky began to take on a subtle shift from deep black to an elegant shade of midnight navy blue, signaling that morning was far off, but slowly awakening. The transition was so slow and smooth that it brought no disturbance to the sleeping forest. The cool night air outside contrasted wonderfully with the snug, soft warmth inside the bed. Nestled beneath layers of wool and linen, Oliver enjoyed the ultimate comfort of a warm sanctuary on a cool, quiet night under the stars. The contrast of the crisp night air and warm wool blankets made every second in bed feel deeply luxurious. A lone nightingale perched on a distant pine branch sang a short, delicate melody of 3 clear, sweet notes that echoed gently through the silent valley. The melody was so tender that it blended seamlessly into Oliver's dreams without waking him. It was the forest's gentle reminder that beauty is always present, even in the quietest hours of the night. Oliver's heartbeat was slow, steady, and calm, beating in perfect harmony with the peaceful rhythm of the night. The sweet notes of the songbird drifted away on the breeze, leaving the air even more tranquil than before. The sweet notes of the distant nightingale echoed softly through the valley, blending seamlessly into the peaceful fabric of his dreams. Nature's night music was gentle and unobtrusive, reassuring every sleeping creature that all was peaceful. The distant nightingale song faded like a soft lullaby, leaving the forest bathed in complete, soothing quiet. The stars above burned with an ethereal glow, like silver candles burning quietly in a grand celestial hall. The view from the treehouse windows was magnificent, a boundless expanse of creation moving in silent, perfect order. Inside the wooden sanctuary, everything was quiet, settled, and completely at peace. The brass oil lamp rested on the table, the journal lay closed beside the fountain pen, and the brass telescope stood watch by the window. All tools of exploration were at rest, replaced by the magic of sleep. The room was a sanctuary of pure relaxation. The quiet instruments of discovery, the telescope, journal, and brass lamp, rested silently in the room, their work complete for the night. Now, the quiet magic of sleep took center stage, restoring mind and body in the peaceful gloom. With all instruments at rest, the room belonged entirely to the gentle, healing presence of quiet sleep. Oliver's hands rested softly on the quilt, completely relaxed. Every muscle in his fingers, hands, and arms had let go of all effort, resting in complete stillness. His body was recharging, building fresh energy and vitality for the days ahead. Sleep was performing its quiet, miraculous work, refreshing his mind and body. Oliver felt completely secure, wonderfully cared for, and deeply at peace inside the cozy treehouse under the stars. His breathing remained low, slow, and rhythmic, carrying him through the quietest phase of slumber. Every muscle in his body was completely relaxed, releasing every bit of physical tension into the supportive mattress. Sleep was working its quiet miracle, refreshing every cell and filling his spirit with quiet strength for the coming day. His body recharged in total stillness, soaking in the restorative power of a peaceful night under the stars. The moonlight had now moved past the skylight, leaving the sleeping nook in a soft, soothing gloom that was perfect for the deepest hours of slumber. The darkness inside the room was friendly, warm, and protective, like being held in a soft velvet embrace. Outside, the morning star was beginning to shine low on the eastern horizon, a brilliant beacon of light in the deep blue sky. But dawn was still many quiet moments away, leaving plenty of time for restful sleep. The treehouse remained a warm sanctuary of peace where time stood still, allowing Oliver to rest deeply without any distraction or noise. The friendly darkness of the room wrapped around him like a soft velvet veil, encouraging the deepest, most restorative slumber. Outside, the morning star shone brightly, a silent promise that light and beauty would return when the time was right. The cozy darkness of the room cradled his slumber, ensuring his sleep remained undisturbed until morning. Barnaby gave a tiny, contented sigh in his sleep, tucking his head even deeper into his soft speckled feathers. The little owl was dreaming his own quiet dreams of gliding over misty meadows and listening to the soft rustle of tall grass. The connection between all living creatures was so clear in the quiet of the night. In sleep, all barriers dissolved, leaving only pure life, pure peace, and pure existence under the celestial canopy. Boy and owl rested side by side, united in quiet friendship and deep peacefulness under the stars. Barnaby slept peacefully on his cushion, his feathers ruffled softly in contentment. The quiet bond between the boy and his owl companion was a source of warmth that filled the room, making the high wooden nest feel even safer and sweeter. The quiet presence of his feathered friend filled the room with comfort, making the nest feel extra warm. A soft, gentle mist began to form over the forest floor, drifting slowly around the ancient oak trunks like a sea of soft white silk. The mist stayed low to the ground, leaving the high leafy canopy of the treehouse clear under the starlit sky. Looking out from the balcony, it looked like floating on a wooden island above a sea of clouds. The sight was magical and serene, a quiet world known only to the creatures of the night. The misty cloud sea muffled every sound below, making the treehouse feel even more private, safe, and tranquil high in the oak boughs. The low-lying fog swirled across the forest floor like a sea of white cotton, isolating the treehouse in a high, peaceful realm above the clouds. Floating above the misty valley, Oliver slept soundly, protected from every draft and chill. Floating above the white misty sea, the treehouse remained a tranquil world of warmth, safety, and rest. Oliver's mind was now in the deepest, most restorative stage of slumber, where dreams fade away into pure, peaceful silence. In this deep well of quietness, there was no sense of time, no concern, and no thought, only pure, undisturbed rest. It was the kind of sleep that heals the spirit and fills the heart with lasting quiet joy. The treehouse cradled him securely, keeping him warm and dry high above the misty woodland floor. The quietness of the night held him in absolute peace, nourishing his body and spirit for the morning light. In the deepest depths of dreamless sleep, mind and body rested in total harmony. There was no hurry, no worry, and no thought, only pure, restorative quietness that renewed his heart and washed away all tiredness. In the quiet sanctuary of deep sleep, his spirit rested in absolute harmony with the timeless universe. The ancient oak tree stood strong and steadfast in the darkness, its deep roots drawing nourishment from the earth while its boughs reached up toward the sky. It had sheltered countless wild birds, forest creatures, and stargazers over its long life. Tonight, it held Oliver and Barnaby with gentle strength, proud to offer its boughs for their peaceful treehouse home. Nature was a kind host, providing everything needed for complete comfort and rest. The grand tree swayed just enough to lull the sleepers deeper into dreamland, singing a voiceless lullaby through its rustling oak leaves. The ancient tree held its precious cargo with gentle pride, its thick limbs providing a solid foundation for the cozy room. Nature was providing a perfect sanctuary, demonstrating its infinite capacity for care, comfort, and protection. The ancient branches swayed softly, keeping rhythm with the slow, steady pulse of the sleeping woodland. Far away beyond the eastern mountains, the sun was beginning to kindle its first faint warmth, but here in Whispering Valley, the night held on to its peaceful reign. The stars were still bright, shining down with silent affection on the sleeping forest. Oliver breathed slowly and steadily, his chest rising and falling in a gentle cadence like soft waves on a calm summer shore. Every breath was a quiet expression of peace and gratitude. The world held its stillness, offering a few more precious moments of deep, restorative rest before the first sunbeam would touch the mountain tops. Slowly and quietly, the universe continued its gentle dance, holding the sleeping valley in a loving embrace. Oliver's breath was steady and slow, rising and falling like a calm tide on a quiet beach, completely at peace. Every quiet breath brought a wave of restorative calm, nourishing his heart as the night drifted on. The atmosphere inside the treehouse was filled with an overwhelming sense of safety and calm. The cedar walls, smooth floorboards, and glass windows created a cozy haven that kept out every chill while letting in the beauty of the starry sky. Oliver turned slightly under the heavy wool quilt, finding an even more comfortable position on the soft mattress. He let out a sleepy sigh, feeling completely relaxed from head to toe. His mind was at complete ease, settled in the deep warmth of his bed while the universe sparkled softly overhead through the glass skylight. The snug warmth of the daybed cradled his body perfectly, making every second of rest feel luxurious and deeply satisfying. He snuggled closer into the wool blanket, feeling completely grateful for this peaceful haven under the stars. Snuggled deep beneath the heavy quilt, he enjoyed a sense of safety so complete that no fear could exist. Outside, the first faint hint of pre-dawn twilight began to soften the far eastern sky, changing the pitch-black atmosphere into a luminous indigo blue. The brightest stars were still sparkling overhead, holding their places until the very last moment. The transition from night to morning was happening so slowly and gently that it was impossible to notice from one second to the next. Nature moved with effortless grace and unhurried patience. The quiet beauty of the changing sky added another layer of serene wonder to the peaceful woodland realm surrounding the treehouse. The sky outside shifted imperceptibly into deeper tones of midnight blue, preparing silently for the far-off dawn. The gradual change was so peaceful that it added to the tranquility of the night, promising a beautiful morning when sleep was done. The slow shift of the sky toward indigo promised a beautiful morning, but for now, sleep reigned supreme. Barnaby stretched one wing slowly in his sleep, then tucked it back in, completely relaxed. The small owl knew that morning was approaching, but there was still time for a few more quiet moments of rest. Inside the treehouse, time seemed to slow down, allowing every second of peace to be fully experienced and appreciated. Oliver remained lost in the sweet depth of his slumber, untouched by any worry or care. The cozy sanctuary offered the ultimate gift of untroubled sleep, wrapping him in endless comfort until the day would begin. Time inside the treehouse moved with unhurried sweetness, allowing Oliver to enjoy every moment of deep, undisturbed rest. The world outside was quiet and patient, holding its breath until the morning sun would rise. Time stood still in the high wooden boughs, granting every moment of peace its full, unhurried sweetness. The gentle fragrance of cedar, lavender, and damp night air settled over the room, creating an ambience of pure tranquility. The treehouse under the stars had fulfilled its purpose tonight, providing a sanctuary of quiet beauty, wonder, and deep rest. Oliver was rested, restored, and deeply peaceful. As the night gently prepared to yield to the dawn, the calm peace of this wooden haven remained planted in his heart. Every quiet memory of the night would stay with him, bringing strength and happiness to his days. The lingering scents of lavender, chamomile, and fresh mountain air filled the room with a soothing aroma that encouraged deep breathing. Oliver rested peacefully, his mind filled with quiet calm that would remain long after waking. The tranquil memories of this starlit night settled permanently in his heart, a source of quiet strength. The stars above shone down one final collective lullaby of silver light, blessing the sleeping world with peace, comfort, and tranquil dreams. Every creature in the forest, from the small owl in the treehouse to the deer in the misty meadow, rested in the quiet security of nature's care. The universe was calm, good, and beautiful. Oliver slept soundly, surrounded by warmth, safety, and the infinite beauty of the starlit sky. His breathing remained peaceful and steady, welcoming the quiet blessing of the night. The starry sky gave its final quiet blessing over the sleeping boy and his feathered friend, filling the room with an atmosphere of sacred peace. Every creature in the woodland was resting securely, bathed in nature's quiet love. Nature's quiet love surrounded the sleeping boy, blessing his rest with gentle warmth and sweet dreams. As the final quiet moments of the night softly passed, the treehouse under the stars stood peaceful and serene against the deep indigo sky. Oliver lay fast asleep, cradled in soft wool blankets and surrounded by gentle beauty, resting deeply until the morning sun would softly wake the world. May you too find the same deep peace, the same warm comfort, and the same tranquil rest tonight as you sleep beneath your own canopy of stars. Good night, sweet dreams, and rest peacefully under the beautiful starlit sky. As the night drew toward its gentle conclusion, the treehouse under the stars remained a beacon of absolute peace and warmth. Oliver slept on in quiet contentment, ready to meet the new day with a restored heart and a peaceful mind. The treehouse under the stars stood peaceful and still, holding him in complete serenity until the dawn.